Good morning or good afternoon if you happen to be watching over on the other side of the Atlantic, which will be a very weird thing to be doing because it's an American Scouser TV channel. But it doesn't really matter. We want everybody to be seeing what we're talking about because it's going to be fantastic. Mostly because we're bald, and that means we must be clever. The follicles fell out because we're too clever. Joined by Suzy and Cosy this morning. Liverpool against Arsenal pre-match. Before we all get excited, there won't be a watch along or a post-match today. That will be taken care of tomorrow in the morning coffee and the podcast, the Monday evening podcast. But we don't worry about that. We're worrying about what's about to come ahead. And if results hold, it could be a very, very monumental game this early in the season. Cosy and Suzy, how are we feeling about it so far?
I'm good. I'm better than Cosy, that's for sure.
I mean, yeah,
it looks to kill.
I'm fine. I'm literally really fine.
Let's look at the lineup so we can see exactly where our consternation may lie.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the one thing about it is McAllister's back in the fold. That helps in the midfield side, but we still have Dominic Szoboszlai. Not that he did bad, but he's not a right back and he's not a wing back for sure. He's a central midfielder, attacker midfielder playing at right back position, still showing that we have a weakness in there, not maybe quality wise, but certainly in reliability wise. Suzy, what do you think of the lineup?
Given the personnel that we have, I'm good with it. I mean, during the week, I thought Szoboszlai would be the better choice as right back. We don't know what Bradley we're going to get because of his injury start to the season. So I'd rather have Szoboszlai, who proved he can do the job against Newcastle, and just to settle the game a bit in the first half. And obviously, I think Szoboszlai gets moved into midfield in the second half with Bradley maybe coming on later on. But yeah, I mean, like I said, given the personnel that we have, apart from the left back situation, I would have played Robertson or started Robertson all day. Other than that, it's the best that we could go for.
Cosy, we can discuss the right back reliability issues, but Milos Kerkez has been a hand grenade at that position, and we're coming up against what will probably be our main contenders for the league if we manage to hold ourselves together defensively for the next few games. What is your opinion?
He's been dreadful.
I mean, he really has. I mean, you don't want to slam the player this early, but he hasn't just been like out of place. He's been absolutely. I've just come from the under 8s to play here today.
He looks like a fish out of water. And by the way, this is not me slamming the player. I say Mo Salah was dreadful against Palace in the league in the Community Shield, but like I don't care who it is. If your performance is dreadful, it's dreadful. You call it out. Doesn't mean we don't think you can be a good player or we don't respect you as you know what I mean. It's nothing like that at all. I still think he has a high ceiling where he could be a good left back for Liverpool, of course. But at the moment, it just isn't working for him. I think he's a liability. I think he goes to ground far too easily for the team who dominate set pieces and playing for set pieces. I think I'd be licking my lips if I was Arteta. And then disagree with Sergi slightly on the Szoboszlai situation. Liverpool have 2 right backs potentially on the bench in terms of Joe Gomez as well. We have an international break for 2 weeks. If we haven't got a right back that can go and do 70 to 80 minutes right now, and then not kick a footy for 2 weeks if they don't want to, then we're a bit more of a shit street than I thought we were, to be honest. Happy that Szoboszlai is playing just because of his height alone on set pieces, so I'm happy he's in the team. I would have played him over McAllister, to be honest. But I love I adore McAllister. I literally adore him. But I also don't think he can do 90 right now anyway, which is a problem. I always think sometimes it's hard to do a player, which might be kind of counterintuitive in my right back argument, to do a play that you automatically have to sub. Like probably Ekitike has to come off at some point because he's getting up to speed. Same with Wirtz, same with McAllister, maybe Kerkez. You probably kind of know that these lads are going to be subs, so the subs are already kind of being chosen for you, and not really by the match and the match situation, which is weird. So no, I hate the team really in that sense. I hate how he's picked it. I thought it's the same team that just got run all over against Newcastle. Always long balls into the box, and Slot was moaning about it. Always long balls, and it was. Are Arsenal going to come and play and turn into Brazil 1970? Are they? No, they're going to come and do exactly the same and target you on set pieces. So maybe he's sending the team out there to go, you got us in that mess and you played so badly, you can go and get us out of it. Maybe there's that attitude, but I just think that's kind of naive.
I mean, I was a big Slot tactical supporter last season, but as we know from the Discord, because he really disappointed about that Newcastle game. I thought it was a tactical flub, a dreadful tactical flub. But Suzy, that is a thing. Like he did almost like the Pep Guardiola. Well, why aren't they playing football against us? That's the only way we win, kind of a deal. And that's not the game, is it? The game is you play what's in front of you. As they say in snooker, you play the table as it is, not the way you hope it would be. And it is worrying that Arsenal are, posh Stoke, so to speak. Mikel Pulis Teta will have a game plan that will hurt us, going by the way the Newcastle game went. So do you think he's going to change his thinking in any way, Slot, today?
It's hard to tell, Slot. And I think maybe I'm clutching at straws. I think this shows sometimes why assistant coaches are important. I know with Hertinger, like he came with a good rep. We obviously won the league the first season with him and started together, and started never worked with him before. I think him leaving, and we've got Van Bronckhorst, who did a shitty job at Rangers. He wasn't really pulling up many trees out in the Netherlands, but I don't know whether that's a telling factor in how we've been playing, especially defensively. Sometimes the manager needs to be saved from themselves by having that, a good assistant with them. So I'm not sure. Maybe I'm just clutching at straws there. Given the players that we bought, the quality of players that we bought, I don't. Just the last 2 games, it just feels like something's not right. We got rid of Nunes and replaced him with a much better striker. We haven't replaced Jota, in my opinion, and we haven't replaced Diaz. So I think obviously they're both telling factors. Konate, again, to Kaiser's point, he's a bridesmaid, and I think Virgil can make anyone look good next to him. I think without Virgil there, and that's why. If the rumors of Gomez leaving, and if we get Gay, he just doesn't make sense, because we literally are just one Virgil injury away from the season collapsing. We need depth in that defense. I wouldn't let go of any defenders. Even Gomez, I wouldn't let go of him. He can still, he's shown he can play. At least 15 games in the season. And we need. If we're trying to hit all 4 competitions this season, even just a Premier League and Champions League, we need all the depth we can get. And Konate right now is showing we can't trust him. And it feels like we should have kept Kwanzaa instead. But, time will tell. Obviously, if we win this today and keep a clean sheet, then everything we've said is just null and void.
Cosy, just to kind of track back a little bit, Johnny Hatting, I'm of the opinion that you can argue, it doesn't matter what position you played in football, if you understand like the principles behind defending, you can organize a defense, but having somebody on your coaching staff who actually played in defense can get those little nuances, that some that somebody who maybe was a forward as a player, they might be able to say, well, back four goes here, moves there, does this. But somebody who came from defender will be able to say, well, actually, sometimes you need to just shift this way for this type of player, because that's what happened to me when I played Alan Shearer way back when, or something like that. Are we kind of missing that defensive astuteness? Because we've gone like way backwards defensively. It's almost reminding me of the season we bought El Hadji Diop and Diao at Liverpool, where we were running away with results in the first 8 games, I think it was, top in the league, but we were conceding so many goals it was not even funny. We were just outscoring teams, and then of course Heskey and Owen get injured, and that's the end of the goals. And then we just collapsed from till November till January. We couldn't buy a win or something.
don't fully remember. But the thing is, though, right? First, I don't really want to talk about assistant manager because it's on the manager. He's the decision maker. He's, at the end of the day, it's on his head. Number 2, Van Bronckhorst was a great left back. He is a defender. Do you know what I mean? Like in that sense.
Wasn't he not a more attacking left back?
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, but he did play. He did play under like Wenger in fucking early 2000s, which wasn't the most attacking flowing football of your life, either. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So as much as people like rave about that, you know, Wenger and things like that, Wenger walked into one of the greatest back fours of all time.
No.
Do you know what I mean? And kind of made them progressively.
Made them eat rice, brown rice.
Indeed. But going back to this, don't meet United again. The man's just been poor all season, in my opinion. He's just been poor.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm not expecting him to be perfect every time. Jurgen Klopp was poor at times. I thought his subs were poor at times. And listen, the manager's getting some of his subs right, but he makes that double sub against Bournemouth, which was fucking wild. It was wild, and I understand Frimpong's injured, but you could have done. And he's only brought Endo on. We could have picked 4 players on that bench. You'd rather play right back than Endo. I could pick all those players on the bench, including the keeper. I would rather see play right back than Endo. Do you know what I mean? But the manager made that decision. The manager could have put Endo on for 5 minutes and then done the Robertson Kirchhoff sub. But doing it at the same time just messed up the balance. It just messed up the kind of, you know, the flow of the game. In that sense, that's on the manager. You know what I mean? The manager picks the team against Newcastle. He's picked the same team again. He makes subs against Newcastle, which didn't really make a lot of sense. But then, of course, he brings on I'll give him his credit because he brings on the 2, you know, very small lads when they're bombarding us with set pieces, and Liverpool go on and win the game. And they have a part to play in the goal in that aspect. I thought Elliott was great for the build-up of the goal. I thought Chiesa was good in the build-up of the goal, and then of course Rio finishes it. So, but it comes back to it. I could have picked that back 8 for Arsenal. I could have picked it. He was definitely doing Marino. He wanted Odegaard injured. And I don't care what he says. He's never coming to play Odegaard. He was coming to get that under big lad in the ping and bombard us with set pieces. Especially the way Liverpool have looked from set pieces this season. Liverpool have looked abysmal. So he was always going to do Marino. So my argument is that, again, our team is not a tall side. It's not a big side. That's why I would have done Robertson just for the sheer experience. And I would have done Gomez right back. And I would have made the brave decision of dropping McAllister and put Szoboszlai in. And I would have. And my Joe Gomez, who's 6'2", and go, he's a big lad. He's a centre-half. He's used to winning headers. Can you do me an hour? What are you doing for the next 2 weeks, Joe? Nothing. You can relax, but can you do me an hour? Do you know what I mean? If the argument is, I don't know, I haven't seen Sloth post-match. Sorry, pre-match. So I don't know if it's like a part of the AC Milan thing. But if you're not playing him for the sake of an £8 million bid at Liverpool, then you're in a world of pain. Do you know what I mean? Like, you really are in a world of pain. And then Bradley, we all know what you're getting out of Bradley. Bradley's, you know, he's basically the tampon at Liverpool, in for a week, out for a month. Do you know what I mean? It's whatever you are. So, he just is what he is. At this point, but I'm frustrated. I really am frustrated.
Great last words before we get banned from YouTube. never heard it described that way.
It's an old school one, that is. It's an old school one.
We're sponsored by Tempex.
As Pep lost the dress, we don't care. We just have to do our business today. So, see, let's have a look at the Arsenal team. Because Cozzy talked about, I think Cozzy is right. I think Mikel Arteta wants to Pulis this game, especially if you saw how weak we were against the aerial attacks against Newcastle. I'm not looking at that team and thinking we're going to be undone by free-flowing football. I'm looking at that team and thinking that they're basically going to be launching ball after ball. Look, I mean, I agree with Cozzy. I mean, Gomez may be fragile, but he can be unfragile for 60-odd minutes and then, build up a lead and then worry about their aerial bombardment after that. Is there anything on that team that scares you on a technical level? Let's assume they're going to play their agricultural football in a Spanish accent. Regardless, but technically, if they want to get down the ball and play, do you think is there anything there that worries you?
Not really. I mean, the Timber on the right, he's pretty tasty. Martinelli, I'm not sure how he's performed this season. Like he didn't really have a good season last season. Madueke, he's like hit or miss. So technically, no. But I mean, that team. It doesn't look like a team that's coming in to win. Like, I think, given a choice, Arteta will take the draw now. And I think as we would probably as well, given how we've started the season. But I think Arteta will be more happier with the win, with the draw, than we would be. He just, you know what you get with him, and it's like, there's a reason why everyone's calling him the new Pulis. Like, he knows he's just going to go for these set pieces, the corner kicks, and we're just going to keep giving, with players like Kirkers, we're going to keep playing into their hands.
Other heads.
Or the heads, yeah. And McAllister as well, he's another one. He gives away a lot of needless free kicks. And that could be our downfall. I'm not really worried about Gyökeres, and I say that, and he'll probably end up scoring 2 today. But no, I'm just nervous because of the way we started the season, more than the opposition. And it just feels like Slot. It feels like we're going back to that Klopp era where we're just going to play how we want to play, whereas Slot last season played to our strengths, but he changed it according to the opposition as well. These last 2 games, I don't think we've done that. Newcastle game, it showed that. We let them control us. You're talking about 100 set pieces in that game, or 300 set pieces, that he was talking about in that game. Well, we should have stopped that after the second one. If we knew that's their game, then we should have changed it in game instead of getting to that 300 set piece. So, yeah, it feels like we've got a different version of Slot this season.
Now, Slot apparently mentions Gyökeres, or whoever you say his name, as being a target man who will run in behind. Cosy, that sounds to me like he's missed the whole point of Gyökeres up there. If he's a big target man, they're going to put the ball on his head, aren't they?
I know what he means by that. By the way, it means if Liverpool can play the high line, he times his run right. He can take it on his chest. He doesn't really need it to beat into his feet. He can control the ball well. I think that's what he means by that. But again, I look at the side. He was always doing this. He was always going to come and do Merino. He was always going to come and do his biggest lads. And by the way, it's his way home, and it's been his way home for 12 months. I've said this for a while, as you know, gents. We can't really judge Slot until the second season when he gets his own players in, because we don't know how he wants to play footy. We said this all the time. He might have just came in and gone, when there's no signings, size these lads up, get a formation, get a way of playing that you want to play out of them, and see if you can get a tune out of them, because they're all boss players, and Liverpool end up winning the league on 80-odd points, whatever it is. Right? And I'm not saying it was an unbelievable achievement. I'm not taking anything away. I like the manager, by the way. I like the manager, but we just don't know how he wants to play. That was always my point. What is an Arne Slot type of player? Because I don't know what it is. That's why we've always been... We could see a midfielder at the end with Klopp, where you go, that's a Klopp midfielder. Couldn't we? Like, I was a big Dewsbury Hall fan, as you know, guys, and Adam Wharton, and those type of players who keep the ball well, great on both feet, and pop it off quick. That was a Klopp type. I'm really, really hard off the ball. Yeah. That was his... I don't know what a Slot player is, and that's what I mean by that, by the way. I just don't know what a player is. Judging by these signings, he wants fast, attacking, pacey players, which is completely fine. But I only think that works when you have a proper number 6. You can stop the counter-attack, like Brian Fabinho. But I don't think he wants that type of player. And that's why I mentioned it before about the Gravenberch dropping back a bit deeper. The one thing I'd say is I think this is the first time Gravenberch and McAllister have started together since we won the league at Spurs. Is that right? It is, isn't it? Just going for the teams back then, yeah. So that was our mainstay of midfield. So Liverpool might look like a completely different team today compared to the last 2 games, because you've got your original midfield back of like what was so successful last season. So we also need to put that into context with the manager might go, fuck this, we might look like a different side here. Those two know each other so well. There's no kind of, bedding game process, is there? Do you know what I mean? And then, by the way, Florian Wirtz might look like a different player. Do you know what I mean? By the way, I don't think he's been bad. I just think Liverpool haven't really gotten the ball and he hasn't really been able to get into the game. But if you actually look at the teams that we played, I'd argue the Bournemouth team that he plays on his first game probably finishes in the top 4 of the German league. I think they're that good. Literally, I think they're that good. And then he's probably looked at Newcastle and went, Florian Wirtz has probably never played a game like that like against Newcastle, where the ball's in for 40% of the time and none of it's on the floor. Yeah. He's probably never experienced anything like that. Do you know what I mean? So we'll see what happens, mate. Again, I'm just a bit... Liverpool can make you look stupid quickly. Liverpool can go out and be cleaned up inside 20 minutes and make you look like an idiot. Like that. Let's be frank. That's what Liverpool can do, because that's how good they are, and that's how good all the individual players are, by the way. But again, it just feels like if the game's slow and monotonous in the first 10 and Arsenal slow it down, you're just going to start playing into their hands, really. Arsenal, The last thing Arsenal want to go out there today. If he's talking about 40% of the ball being in play, for the first 15 minutes, Arsenal want less than that. Arsenal do not want the ball in play in the first. They want to kill the crowd. You come in and you kill the crowd. You wait your set pieces. You take 90 seconds of throwing. You get it going. The good thing is with this new rule, Raya can't hold on to the ball for long, which is good. But I just think that's how, if you're Arsenal, that's how you want to play. I don't know if Liverpool are kind of ready for the kind of... I don't know if they've got the patience to play like that at the moment. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if they've got the patience to go, okay, if you want to play like that, we'll play your style and we'll win the game with our bit of quality when we get the ball. I don't know if they've got the patience right now.
And then on top of that, like, Arnie Slot seemingly surprised at the fact that Newcastle didn't want to play football at all, the way he defines it. I mean, he could be unready for this as well, couldn't he?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know why he was surprised. Like, genuinely, especially when it goes down to 10. It was always going to happen like that. They were always going to get Osasuna on, and he's a big boy and target us. Can you blame them? Do you want them to go? I don't know what the manager was expecting. He felt like he was surprised that he was expecting to see Tonali doing Cruyff turns around McAllister. No. It was never going to happen, was it, gents? Like, we've watched footy. So, again, it's interesting. I'm probably more nervous now seeing the side, if I'm honest. I really am.
Susie, let's have a look at the subs bench, because we may need to make use of it. I mean, we have the two. Gomez, Bradley, Robertson, Endo, Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott, Chiesa. And I mean, only the last three names there are game changers, really, aren't they? I mean, we've got a team full of defensive players, essentially, and Curtis Jones, who does a bit of both. And then Harvey Elliott, Chiesa, and will we see Ungamoha, do you think? Will he rely on him again to win the game?
God, I don't know. How many more times can we just ride our luck and get these last-minute super subs come on and win the game? It's not right. That's not how you win the league. And you look at Arsenal's bench, Eze will definitely come on. Trossard, a thorn in our side, he'll definitely come on. The game could be won from the subs bench. Our squad, our depth and squad looks so different this season to last season. And it's, I think out of all the subs that may come on, the biggest difference will probably be Robertson, because and it's a horrible thing to say, because if we need Robertson to bail us out or keep us in the game, it must mean that obviously plan A has gone to shit.
But you know the subs, though, don't you? You know the subs, don't you? That's the thing. We all know. If we know the subs, the other manager knows the subs. Do you know what I mean? That's my point. Like, we know Kirches is not doing 90. I'll be amazed if Kirches does that. Even if Liverpool are winning goal, losing the game, Kirches won't do 90. We know Bradley 90 or Gomez are coming on right back, and Szoboszlai will go back into midfield at one point. We know Ekitike, don't think he can do 90. The good thing is for Ekitike, he hasn't been picked for France, so he might be able to do 90 and go, can you just do the 2 weeks off now and just recover, which will be completely fine for a player of his age, and you know what I mean? So, you're arguing about Rio, could you see him? I hope not, because if you see their defence, they'll fucking ruin him in terms of the size and the ability. I'm not saying Rio's ability isn't good. We haven't seen enough, really, to judge him if he's a good player or not. Let's be frank, we haven't. We haven't really seen him for a consistent run of games. He looks like he's got all the ability in the world, and he has all the talent in the world. But as we know, lads, we've watched footy for years, talent can only take you so far. Do you know what I mean? So, but if I was Timber and Saliba on that side, I'd be going, mate, if that kid comes on, mate, we're fucking putting him in the stand quick. Do you know what I mean? Even if he comes on for 10, you put him in the stand, you won't see him again. Do you know what I mean? So there is that argument as well. Sometimes it was needs must. You see him against Newcastle because Liverpool nearly had one of the biggest catastrophes ever by being 2-0 up down to 10 men with half an hour to go and not winning the game. Do you know what I mean? That's why you've seen him. The manager had to twist. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But if Liverpool are losing the game 1-0, I still don't think he brings them on. You know what I mean? I still can't see it, gents. I don't. But that's why, again, the conversation today in the Discord over Elliott. Elliott looks like one of his main subs. Again, do you know what I mean? Elliott looks like the sub, and Chiesa, of course, they look like the two attacking subs. So it's concerning because of the depth at the moment. The depth is not where you'd like it to be. But even if you do Kirke and Isak, it's not really going to be where you want it to be. I don't think. I think you still think you need one more. The link to the very loose link to Morgan Rogers feels right because you can play across the front three. Do you know what I mean? But until you get that type of player in, then you kind of playing the hand you dealt, aren't you?
So see, before we go to score predictions, I mean, in light of the fact that the transfer window closes tomorrow, we're kind of stuck, aren't we? If this is what it ends up being, if we get to the end of the transfer window and everybody's predictions and guesswork and logical estimates of the 4D chess that the transfer people are playing, and we end up with not Isak and not Guehi and not a surprise third player, that is a very thin squad to try and win a second league and do another trophy on top of it as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just reminiscent of when we won a league last time. And I mean, yeah, all right, we bought players and we have world-class players, but that the squad is still thin. And it's just, yeah, we can't, I don't know. I went from 99% sure we were going to get Isak and Gay, like, beginning the transfer window to like 1%, because as each hour passes, it just feels like it's just slipping away from us. And, you know, it's like, you both said, like, which sometimes we think we're the smartest people in the room, and it could be to our detriment. And it's like we're gonna be riding on our luck, trying to make sure that none of these players get injured between now and January, and hopefully get them in then. But yeah, you can't win a league on luck alone. It just doesn't work.
Because in terms of you know, we've had these discussions on all of our shows week to week. It's getting done this weekend. It's getting done after this game is played. It's getting done. I mean, it hasn't happened yet.
It's getting done.
Is it getting done? Is it?
What's done? I don't know.
But like, going back to what you said earlier, not knowing what a slot type player looks like, what we can definitely say is it's a player we've signed, right? that'll be a horrible thing to do to the manager, to have him win the league in his first season, want to try and rebuild, knowing that our two biggest stars and leaders are gone in 2 years for sure, for definite. And may as well, as both you and I have said, strengthen from a position of strength rather than from a position of weakness. It'll be a dereliction of duty if we don't get anything through by, what is it, 7 o'clock tomorrow, something like that.
Liverpool won't win the Premier League if you don't sign a player. That's the fact. Liverpool might win a trophy. You could win the Champions League because it's a good game, 90 minutes, anything can happen, can it? Do you know what I mean? But you won't win the league. Consistency in the league is the key, and Liverpool haven't got the depth to do it. And especially up front. We're at the stage, gents, right? And I really need people to really think about this. Chiesa is your fourth choice player. Now, a fourth choice player to me is a player who can come in and start 20 games. Do you see the manager starting Chiesa 20 games? Do you see the manager starting Chiesa 6 out of 10 games? I don't. So he's not a fourth choice then, is he? Because a fourth choice is one injury away. One.
Yeah.
And you know Salah's leaving in December. So if Liverpool don't do Isak and they go with Isak or bust, then it turns into one of the worst windows. That's how fine this is. Never mind the centre half situation. That's the, you know what I mean. Which is another. I'm not. First of all, I've got a thing anyway in my head that Italian players are just never good in the Premier League, and I'll be proved right.
No, I'm fully on board with that. Fully on board.
Yeah. The kid's 18, and he might just prove to be the anomaly, of course, because he's a big boy, looks like a unit. Have we all seen him kick a footy? By the look, when I looked at a bit of his highlights. He's standing on the edge of his half defender. You don't stand on the edge of the area defending for Liverpool. Do you know what I mean? You're standing on the halfway line defending for Liverpool. It's the Harry Maguire situation. You look great at Leicester, fella, but when you come and stand on the halfway line at United, mate, and you get running behind. So the kid is an unknown quantity. We're bang lucky you're playing Southampton in the League Cup, but the kid can probably get his debut, and we'll have a look at the kid and see what he's about. But again, so he's an unknown quantity. So the centre half we need as well. So this thing of getting it done, we don't have a choice. Like, we're at the stage where, by the way, even if you do your Isak and Gay, that's still not enough, but we'll have to accept it. Because we'll go, okay, we can swallow it. You know why? Because the lad that you had as the option, unfortunately, passed away. Like, that's not... Do you know what I mean? As much as, like, okay, we can swallow that as fans, then okay, you weren't, of course, prepared for that. He was going to be that option. By the way, what would you do for him today against Arsenal, by the way? The absolute phone on the sky for that lad. So, I kind of had a little think about him this morning as well on the couch. So, Liverpool don't have a choice, Matt. If you want to win this Premier League, and we think this team is as good as what we think they are, these players. I think they're unbelievable, but we are too short. Yeah. And I think Liverpool could go, if you go on, 3 short, but if you get the main 2 in, you might have enough to go out and try and win all 4. Because let's be frank, and this is the point about the League Cup and things, sometimes you can just win it by default.
Yeah.
Liverpool nearly won it by default last year. Do you know what I mean? Liverpool go to Brighton and make 10 changes and win the game, which they probably wouldn't even expect. They probably genuinely wouldn't even expect. Liverpool are 3-0 up with 10 minutes to go. Do you know what I mean? So you can win it by default. But again, let's see what happens. I don't want to sit here and judge the ownership and the board, and we can have a big chat about that probably next on our Thursday chat about the window when it closes, and we can have a big chat about the summer. Do you know what I mean? Because right now it's not looking great, but again, Liverpool can make you look like idiots in 24 hours. Do you know what I mean? So let's just see what happens.
That's because we are 5 minutes away from kickoff, and we want to watch the You Never Walk Alone. So, Z, score prediction.
I'm going to go for 2-2.
Cozzy?
I said 2-1 all week, but I just think probably a draw. I'm at the stage I don't think we win the game.
No, I said we'd lose on Thursday. I'm going to stick with that 2-1 loss. I just have no faith that the subs we make will help us.
I'll say 2-1 because Arsenal definitely score, but I wouldn't be surprised if Liverpool lost. It wouldn't be like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, I can see why they won.
Bill says 2-0. But we are going to go and prepare ourselves to watch the game and see if we're, at least I'm wrong, and I really, really hope I am. But if you want to continue to know when we're doing things, follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, Mastodon, all of those types of things. Hopefully we will come out with this with the 3 points because it'll put us top of the league and it will get us nicely into the international break, and then we can all complain about tomorrow the next day. Okay, peace out, people. Have a good one. Enjoy the game. Thank you, Susie. Thank you, Cozzy. Let's hope for a Reds win. Up the tricky Reds. Here we go.